Hey, escapers, another year gone by, so I decided to do another bank update on my Ironman account, skills achieved and overall progress. It's always nice to see what I improved over the year, what goals I was set and if I managed to achieve it. So let's take a look. We can all agree that one of the biggest achievements that I achieved this year was 120 in all skills. When I started the goal to 120 in like 2018, I was not even sure that I'm gonna achieve it, as it took me 6 years to actually achieve, but I could have done it way faster, as I really started to focus it like 2 years ago. As for 200 million experience in all skills, I'm not focusing on that for now. I'm training skills towards that, but it's definitely not my priority. Now, I'm more focused on PVM. Account upgrades like finally getting the spear tip, trying to get rare rewards from various activities too. So overall, I'm slowly going towards 200 million experience skills, but it will take a long time to achieve. So let's get to the point you all guys are here. My bank account. When getting to 120 all skills, I gathered it and used so many resources. So my bank either stayed the same or slowly climbed up, but this year, after finally getting it and not spending billions on training skills, I finally jumped a lot in overall value of my account. As of making this video, my total worth is over 27 billion GP. For the past 2 years, my net worth was around 16 to 19 billion. But after starting PVM grinds, it jumped instantly. Racial drops, insane luck at Caro Pack, and overall progress is insane here. So, I think it's time to check out what's inside the bank. Overall, I think I have a pretty clean bank. When I was looking at it recently, I can see where I can do some improvements, but overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I know where most of my stuff is when I need it, so it's good. So let's start. First tab, or just, I don't know, zeroth tab that has no actual name, is mostly various teleports. Random stuff that I didn't find a place, or just new items that will be assigned someday somewhere. This is kinda the most random tab in my bank. Tab number 2 is a bit random too, but it falls to a category of cooking and potions in a way. Contains mostly all my fished or somewhere obtained food, either cooked or raw, mostly lower level food that I use for some easy activities like wilderness flash events, Slayer, low level bosses and such. Instead of using rocktails or even sharks, I use this. When I was going for 120 fishing and cooking, it was just perfect to catch these fish. Porter event was happening that time, so it was free charges. Instead of eating the fish with the fishing outfit, I sent them to the bank. And for the potion part of the tab, simply 5 to 1 those potions here. Instead of every time making a new space, when I drink a potion, they just end up here. So it's easier to track potions that are not full and then easily decant them. On to another one. This one is gonna be fun to see. That's my combat tab. I have so many various things here that I don't even know where to start. So let's just start from the top, I guess. Huge collection of runes. I actually stopped buying runes ages ago. My main goal was to get 1 million of each elemental runes and some of the other ones. But I just gave up after reaching water and earth runes at 1 million. I should start doing rune shops again, but I just can't. Don't know why. I just don't like it, even though it takes like 5 minutes at max. Moving on. Potions. I actually think I will move this potion time sometime soon. It actually doesn't belong to combat tab. I mean, I don't use any of them for combat. Of course, the overloads and adrenaline potions. Basically, this row is usable for combat, but this one is just for making more potions. So I think I will move this one for sure. Food. My best in slot food that I use for bosses and harder encounters. Kinda low on everything in my standards, but I recently did some fishing, so I'm up to a decent numbers now as I do more and more combat. I will have to do some more fishing sessions in the near future. Moving on, some summoning familiars that I mostly use. Not a huge amount, as I try to save them as much as possible. It's hard to collect those pouches, so I only use them at high-level bosses. Some random capes just to fill the row. Pages, arrow collection, that I don't think I ever use. Maybe someday when I get the better range gear. Some screenshots that I was using ages ago. Don't really remember when the last time I had some of them on actually. They got outdated with scriptures. Maybe they're still good at some places. Dunno. Rune pouches, some random items. That was good, but now it just takes bank space. And now for the best part. Combat gear. Have each row dedicated to each style. Kinda best in slot that I have for it. Starting with melee gear. The cape, noxious sight, normal masterwork armor, and some random two-handed weapons. Not the best in slot, that's for sure. It will take some time before I get best in slot for melee. Then comes mage dedicated row. One of the worst combat gear of all 4 combat styles. I never liked Virago, so never got the power armor for it. But Zuriels are not that far from it, so overall pretty bad gear for it. I hope to get something better this year. Now, for my most beloved combat skill. Ranged. I invested so much time upgrading it, and it's not even close to the power necromancy has to offer. Tier 92 power armor, hex hunter bow, ascensions, it's basically tier 90 still, but I lack a lot of DPS at better bosses. So after Necromancy release, I barely used this. Raksha and Elite Dungeons 3 was the only place I used this gear, but eventually I swapped to Necromancy even there. It's sad to see it sitting in my bank, but I have plans for it, as I'm gonna try for best in slot range gear this year. I think it will be fun. As for the remaining of the tab, even I don't know what this is. Like it's some random combat gear with no actual use? Maybe it was good 5 years ago, maybe it's good for some random monsters or activities, some niche gear. I actually should clear this a bit. Maybe I will do a bank cleanup someday? Should be fun thing to stream actually. I will think about it. I don't think this tab is worth a lot of time, but I will try to talk about it a bit. So, originally, it was my quest tab. Various quest items and items from quests that I may need in the future that are hard to get. Then, slowly it filled with some event items, random things that don't really have a place like book pages, and just really random items. Most of them I can just drop. But being Ironman, I was saved so many times by those random items for Master Quest Cape or just random achievements, so I just can't drop them. Skilling tab. Kinda, most of the skilling supplies are here. Like 5 months ago I rearranged it to my liking, so at least for me, it looks insanely clean. Maybe I can fix 1 or 2 things, but overall, it looks really good. Gems, logs, everything is in order. From log to plank, to refined one, 10 frames. I mean, I don't really need the most of it, as I already have maxed out 4. So it just takes a lot of bank space. But it just looks so good. I can't destroy it. Some hides for crafting, some random items to fill the gaps, fletching supplies, more random stuff, and more fletching supplies? Wait, more random stuff? And more fletching supplies? And guess what? More random supplies? I mean, it's kinda skilling tab, but when I look at it, it has so many random things here. Moving on. Skilling rows, as I call it. Each row has its skilling outfit with skilling supplies that I use the most. It's really easy to equip a set if I need to do some activity this way, as everything is in one place, and I don't need to have a preset for it, so it saves a lot of time. I used this tab so much before 120 null skills. Now, after clearing it, it just leftovers that I may use someday for 200 million skills. Another really big skilling tab, mostly herblore and farming items here. I actually don't really know what's exactly in this tab, so let's see. A huge amount of empty warriors vials, some potions that are used to make overloads, a huge collection of warriors herbs, most of it collected before farming nerf, when they removed herb drops from bosses. so I think I have more than enough herbs for my activities. That's a really huge collection actually. 20,000 here, 20,000 here, 30,000. I don't even remember when I got them. Did wires to 120 skills, so a lot of came from them too. Other than that, it just piled up slowly, I guess. These rows are by herbs and potions to make, like herb, unfinished potion, then some type of secondary that goes with that potion. Maybe some of the items are mixed up as I move some items from time to time, maybe by accident or when I make a potion for better seeing. Anyways, bunch of secondaries here too, like 44,000 rows. That's gonna be a lot of vulnerability bombs. Snapgrass, red spider eggs, lymphrot roots, white berries. I mean, I have a ton of secondaries from various activities, daily shop runs and stuff. I don't even think I will ever use them going for 200 million herbler experience. But it doesn't hurt to have them. Maybe they will add new potions like they did with necromancy. Almost 50k on glad blood saved up. That's gonna be a nice amount of necromancy potions. As Ironmans, we have to be hoarders. Otherwise, it will be really hard to progress. So, I think I'm doing a really good job with supplies. What do you think? Coming next, summoning tab. But it's more like summoning, farming, skilling and hunter tab. I mean, I don't want to have one tab insanely big and others just 2-3 rows. So with skilling outfits, I kinda divided skilling tab into 2, maybe 3 tabs. As for the items here, it's pretty simple. Summoning charms, secondaries, and various items that belong or relate to summoning. Various made pouches that I barely use actually. Like, I don't even remember when the last time I summoned any of those. Summoning skilling outfits, same as the other tab was, with the items that go with those skills for easy access. Nothing really special money-wise. Maybe the memory dowser that's worth like 700 million GP. Other than that, pretty much nothing. Another skilling tab. Geez, how many of those are here? Divination and Invention tab. Pretty small one. After 200 million invention experience and having pretty much best in slot perks. Not all, but most of it. I kinda cleared this one to minimum, as I don't need anything from here invention wise. As for divination, energies, various items from gathering daily, porters, random symbols that I don't know what you're doing here. And then random invention and I don't know, just a lot of random stuff. I really need to clean my bank. Now for the most random tab, as I call it, doob or loot tab. Every monster drop that either I already have or missing a piece to finish. Like Eldritch Crossbow or Fractured Staff pieces, various essences, expensive gems, supplies to make other combat related stuff. Top rows are mostly used for some activities. As we go down more and more, it starts to show up my precious dupes. Necromancy gear that I got more than I need, Dragon Full Helm. That's actually a really rare drop, so I keep it in my bank for some kind of drop collection also. Various Revenant drops, Wilderness stuff, God Wars 1 drops. I mean, as I mentioned, it's my PVM drops that are either useless to me or I already have one working in my combat tab. I actually need to move those runes from here. Those keys too, I mean, it's kinda useful for some activities. Mostly used for making beeswax at the moment. Random arrow section, not sure why I collect them. They just take a lot of space. More random drops that are not worth a lot, but it's nice to look at. Bunch of alchebles that I use daily for my alchemy machine. So, overall, it's a pretty nice PVM tab that's gonna fill up even more in the next year, as I'm planning on continuing the PVM low grinds, so it's gonna be fun to watch how much it's gonna grow in the next year. Oh boy, this tab used to be so big, but after 200 million experience, I cleared as much as possible. I can make even more space, but I think it's enough. Most of the gear and items I actually still use, even though I'm 200 million experience in archaeology. I actually try to collect 100 tetra compasses now. Did a huge grind for spear tip, so I gathered more than enough to make it to 100 I think. Now only need to gather materials to restore artifacts, then collect materials to restore tetra compass, And the most fun part gonna be actually dig up 100 tetras. But I think it's gonna be worth the struggle. Maybe RNG gonna reward me with Tony's Matok for my pain getting spear tip. And for the last tab, it's Necromancy one. When it came out, I decided to dedicate a new one for it, as it had various items, secondaries, runes, armor, and just a lot of random stuff for necromancy. So a new tab was perfect for it. It's not big, but it will grow a bit in the next year. Racial grind is not over, so more gear gonna end up here. Maybe they will introduce new things for necromancy in the future. Maybe they will add new stuff, so keeping everything here is really nice. It's not much, but it's enough for me. So that's basically it for my precious bank. Have some stuff at Elite Dungeons chest, mostly alchables and some skilling supplies, nothing really big, but it's still worth more than 400 million GP. Then I have mining supplies hiding in the furnace, nothing really much to look at, just some random amount of ores and bars, and archaeology materials. This one is actually big. That's more than 1 billion GP in materials alone here. Not sure the exact amount, but it's more than 1 billion for sure. Other than that, I think that's it. That's everything I got. That's everything I collected in 10 years of my Ironman journey. Not really sure what's the point of this video. It's like a time capsule to see how much I improved from previous years, as this is the third bank video I ever did. And one of the most impressive ones for sure, so overall, I'm pretty happy with what I have so far. Next year gonna be huge for me money wise, as I will mostly gonna do PVM, so stay tuned for that. As for this one, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time, bye.